Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video. Of course, the news of the day in the Star Wars world is that Dave Filoni has been promoted to Chief Creative Officer of Lucasfilm. He will now work with Kathleen Kennedy at the inception phase on all future Star Wars projects. In a move that will this time surely for real 100% absolutely save the Star Wars brand, Lucasfilm has announced that they've officially tapped Star Wars Rebels and Ahsoka creator Dave Filoni to serve as the company's new Chief Creative Officer. I guess getting lower viewership than the Andor finale for the Ahsoka finale really helped them promote this guy. It's so weird the way they run things, man. It's just all nepotism. This promotion for the cowboy hat-clad director was first revealed by Filoni himself during a recent interview with Vanity Fair's Anthony Brenzeken. Now, I'm what's called Chief Creative Officer of Lucasfilm. In the past, in a lot of projects, I would be brought into it. I would see it after it had already been developed a good ways. In other words, like a good ways in, I guess. In his new role, Filoni will now work directly alongside Kathleen Kennedy and Head of Development Carrie Beck in shaping Star Wars' future. Filoni detailed, in this new role, it's opened up to basically everything that's going on. When we're planning the future of what we're going to do, I'm involved at the inception phase, he added. According to Breznican, per this new arrangement, Kennedy will remain in charge of Lucasfilm overall, Beck will bear responsibility for recruiting new creatives onto the Star Wars team, and Filoni will be tasked with offering narrative oversight to all future projects. Just wanted to say, it's kind of funny how Ahsoka has this kind of like, yeah, I'm going to beat you, arrogant face, and then she gets her butt handed to her by Balin. Anyways, this is funny. Elaborating on his new position, Filoni noted, I'm not telling people what to do, but I do feel I'm trying to help them tell the best story that they want to tell. I need to be a help across the galaxy here, just a part of a Jedi Council almost. Okay. To truly help filmmakers, it was really important for me to experience it firsthand. I can also lend a perspective on the challenges that telling these stories will present. I feel more capable of actually being helpful outside of just saying, well, Jedi are like this and Sith are like this. Well, he has experience doing the Ahsoka show, but the vast majority of his experience is the animated stuff. I don't know. I don't get how he's going to be helping filmmakers. They're generally hiring people that have a lot more experience than him, like the guy who did the Manigault, the guy who did the Indiana Jones 5 movie that was a total disaster, and then got another movie. Oh, you made a disaster for us that lost us a whole ton of money, hundreds of millions of dollars. Here's the Origin of the Jedi movie for you. Here you go. And they literally announced it like right after Indy came out, and it was a joke. Or it might have been right before. But either way, Indy was a flop, and they're still gonna. So, but at the end of the day, Manigault has way more experience making movies than Dave Filoni does. So this whole thing, it's just bizarre to me. It's really, really weird to me. And then you factor in the fact that Filoni's Ahsoka show is really just, I'm going to steal ideas from Timothy Zahn's books, and then I'm going to insert my characters that I made up into them from Rebels. It was a bad strategy. I talked in my last video about just the terrible strategy that Kathleen Kennedy had from the beginning and continues to promote. And part of the bad strategy is just hiring these guys that just keep failing. And it's not all that creative for Filoni to just take somebody else's ideas, insert his characters, and then mix in a bunch of his ideas from Rebels into Timothy Zahn's books. There was no Luke Skywalker in the Ahsoka series at all, and Luke was paramount in the Timothy Zahn books. So it just, I don't see anything changing here. However, just because Filoni now has a whole new set of responsibilities does not mean he's abandoning his previous commitment to his planned Star Wars feature film. I'm setting up what seems to be a larger conflict with the Imperial Remnant. Filoni reaffirmed of his plans for a silver screen continuation of Ahsoka's story. That conflict can't just mirror what we've seen before. It has to take on a different shape. It just can't be the Empire versus what looks like the Rebellion or even the Republic. It has to be visually different. Okay, make it visually different. I don't know how you're going to do that, because there's the First Order that comes later, and their ships and their look and everything is very similar. It's very small changes. There's a few cool new ships like the Knights of Ren ship, which again, some dummy decided to call it the Night Buzzard. What? The Night Buzzard? It's like this big honking ship that like releases its fuel like it's an old, 60s Mustang or something. No, it's the Night Buzzard. It's just... So anyways, there's not a lot of different, like by the time we get to the First Order, so I don't know how he plans on accomplishing that. And also too, like, it has to be visually different. This is such a huge concern for them, is this visual issue. And the reality of it is that visually Star Wars hasn't been too bad. Some of the stuff in Kenobi looks pretty cheap. Even some of the stuff in the Ahsoka show looked kind of cheap. But overall, the visuals, I don't think are really that big of an issue for most people. I think most of it has to do with things that contradict lore, ways that characters have been treated, like Luke and Han and Leia and all that stuff, the storylines. These are the things that people are concerned about. I don't think people are all that concerned with the visuals right now. They just want a good story. And the stories have been bad. So this should not be your priority. If you're Dave Filoni, it needs to be the writing, which has been pretty bad. And if you look at the Ahsoka show, in 6 hours of footage, we got basically a very basic plot done. Could have been 2 episodes. They find a way to get to the new galaxy, and Thrawn finds his way back to the old galaxy. That's literally the whole series. Baylan and Shin didn't end up really accomplishing anything. Like, literally nothing. Like they didn't take out any of the good people. They didn't do anything. They just kind of were there. Baylan was just there. So that's the issue. Is it just going to be a continuation of just these long, drawn-out episodes that very little, if anything, happens? I don't need to go into too many details. I reviewed every episode of Ahsoka, and there's a lot of really, really dumb things that happen within each episode as well, things that don't make sense, military strategy that doesn't make any sense. Like, for example, aiming at Ahsoka when their ship is completely useless and doesn't even have any shields and has no power, and they could have just blown it out of the sky, but they keep shooting at her when she's out on the ship in space in her very cringy looking spacesuit. So stuff like that, that's your focus, Dave, not visuals. Visuals are going to happen. You've got ILM, you've got the most talented people in the special effects industry. You should not have a problem making proper visuals. This is a non-issue. Even The Last Jedi, for all intents and purposes, had beautiful visuals. It was just absolutely terribly written movie. So that needs to be the priority, but they always seem to prioritize the wrong things, right? Like, we got to have, more women, and we got to have more this and more that, and things that are superficial. That's the word. Everything that they seem to be prioritizing is the superficial instead of the meat, instead of the real issue, which is the storytelling. And unfortunately for Star Wars fans, Filoni's promotion to narrative overseer does not necessarily bode well for the franchise's future prospects, most notably due to his own flippant attitude towards its well-established canon. Speaking to Screen Rant during a Star Wars Celebration in 2023 event in London, England, Filoni opined, "People get into all of these debates of what's canon, what's not, and sometimes forget just the special nature of telling a good story and creating good characters." That right there is a contradictory statement, because you can't tell a good story and have great characters if you're not falling in line with the rules of the universe you're writing those characters in. If you're just ignoring or being flippant, as this author puts it, towards the lore and what's come before that, then you can't really tell a good story. That's what I don't understand, how this is hard to understand. This should be so simple. It's the same thing I always say of Peter Jackson, right? When he did Lord of the Rings. I'm not here to insert our politics. I'm not here to change anything. We're here to do honor to the IP and to Tolkien. And the same thing should be true for Star Wars. Do honor to the IP. That's what fans want to see. We want to see respect given. So this whole idea of like, well, people debate on what's canon and what's not, and they forget the special nature of... No, that is a big part of the special nature of storytelling, is staying within the rules of the universe that it's in. And that includes how you handle characters. And if you completely make contradictory decisions like you did with Luke, which Filoni was very, very supportive of, you're not actually creating good characters. And then also he supported Luke being the way he was to try and drive the audience towards Rey, like some sort of psychological ploy. We're going to like Rey now because Luke's a bum. How is that writing a great character? How is that making Rey a great character by ruining another character? It's not. It just isn't. And the proof is in the pudding. She's not really a very good character. She doesn't really have a very good arc. She doesn't really have very many struggles really at all. Everything's emotional struggles, like stuff like that. Like, that's not interesting. You have some of that within the character, but they have to go through real challenges, real world challenges as well to make them interesting. Just making Luke a bum doesn't make Rey great. So his whole mentality here is just so off from sort of a basic writing standpoint. Part of the fan debate in the past always used to be what's canon, what's not, because there was George, and we always knew George was the canon. He told the other, I look at it very broadly and just say there's just a love of Star Wars, because I know George, I worked with him, none of us are going to be him, but we love the galaxy he created, and we're very much a product of it growing up. But then why did you have to change so many things, and why did you have to insert so many things? And, George authorized the Timothy Zahn books. Like, he likes those books, and you cherry-picked what you wanted out of them. Like, I don't think you're doing any honor to George. As of writing, it is unclear which of Lucasfilm's future Star Wars projects will be the first to receive input from Filoni in his official capacity. Here's the bottom line for me. At the end of the day with this, nothing changes. Filoni's been very involved. He's been with the writers group. He's been extremely involved in all these projects. Yeah, he says, oh, well, I'm going to be more involved before they start, principal photography or whatever. And I was called on after they did some of that stuff. But does that really change much? I mean, he's always there. He's always hanging around. He's always putting his bits in. This doesn't change anything. Like, this, it literally changes nothing. It's the same as when Kathleen Kennedy was supposedly going to be letting her contract run out. And then they released information about, and I have a video about that as well, information about what her role would be after she let her contract run out, which doesn't make sense. If you're letting your contract run out, you're leaving, right? No, instead it was like, she's still going to go to all the parties. She's still going to be showing up on set and still, heavily involved in the project.
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone!
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
It's like, so your contract isn't actually running out then. So your title will go away and go to somebody else like Favreau or somebody. That was the rumor at the time. But you're still there. You're still a big part of it. It doesn't make it, so anyways, all that to say, guys, this doesn't change a thing. All they're trying to do is save face, I believe, from what happened with the South Park episode and the level of backlash they're getting for all their decision making. And I think that's honestly all this is just a way to kind of be like, see, look, Filoni's going to be even more involved. It's like, he already is. This is all nonsense. These are just titles. So you guys let me know in the comment section what you think. Does this even change a thing? Does this give you hope now? Are you full of hope for the future of Star Wars that's leading to the sequels, and Dave Filoni's going to change the visuals of the remnant of the Empire that ends up being the First Order anyway, which is pretty close to the old Empire, and then Palpatine lifts a bunch of old style Star Destroyers out. Like, it doesn't, I don't get what they're I don't know what any of this means. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think it means. Maybe you have some insight that I don't have. Please let me know. Thanks for watching and listening again, guys. If you do like this content, please like and subscribe. Check out any other Star Wars content. I also have some stuff about a bunch of other stuff as well on my channel. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.